Welcome, my constant reader friends. I'm Tad, and this is Tad Reads Books and Stuff. All right, so I'm excited about this. We are starting a new book, a new series in the graphic novel read-along series that Grozz on the GKBC and I am doing on this channel, and we are calling it the MARVEL-ous Team-Up. So we are both marvelous, and we are teaming up to read A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. Yes, so this is the new graphic novel series that we're reading. We will be doing videos on this about every 2 weeks. And in this book, we're going to be covering 3 chapters or 3 comics at a time. This book is finished, so it's complete. There are 11 total issues in this book, and so it should take us just a couple weeks to get through this. I hope you watch all of it, and I hope you check out Grozz on his channel. I will put his link below. All right, so we've started. We're 3 chapters in. This is written by Rick Remender, and the art is by Lima Araujo. I believe that's how you say his name. If it's not, please let me know. I'm sorry, Andre, if I'm totally screwing up your name. But so let's start off. What is this book? So this is interesting. I love it already. 3 issues in. Let me show you the beginning of this. I love this. Boom. A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. I love how the artwork and how the story is progressing. I'm going to talk about that a little bit here, but let's start off here with chapter 1, Vancouver, BC. I love how this is here, these 2 panels, this kind of evocative of, you know, the old black and white movies. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, little foreshadowing there. But the artwork is really vibrant, very interesting. It is modern, so we are in, well, I guess, you know, today's type world. So there's cars, computers, cell phones, you know, restaurants, buildings, everything. So we open up with, this is our, looks like our protagonist here. You can see him right here. And we really have no idea who he is. He's waiting outside for a bus. It starts raining. He doesn't have an umbrella, but he notices 2 elderly people, you know, together under an umbrella, and he steps aside and lets them go first ahead of him, even though he's getting soaking wet. And he lets them get on the bus first, and then he gets on the bus. He realizes as he's going that he's out of cigarettes. So he needs to stop, get off the bus, and go to a little, it looks like a little, like, corner grocery store. You know, kind of like a quick stop, or I don't even know if they have quick stops nowadays, or what do we have here, Raceway or something like that. So he goes into this little corner grocery store to buy some of his special, looks like Asian style cigarettes, and they don't have them. He turns quickly and bumps into a gentleman who drops his groceries, and he gets kind of rude to him, yells at him like, "What are you doing, you jerk?" And then he realizes, he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's my fault." Bends down, helps the guy put the groceries back in his bag, and he notices he's got a big jar of Drano. I don't know, is that foreshadowing? We'll see. So finally he just goes back to the bus stop to wait for another bus. There's a kid sitting there, and the kid's kind of grossed out because there's a pigeon on the side of the road that's apparently dying, but it's suffering, and the kid doesn't know what to do. The guy's like, whatever, here's the bus. Kid gets on the bus, he waits, walks over to the pigeon and just stomps on it, crushes it, puts it out of its misery. So we're kind of starting to show that this guy might not be the nicest guy in the world, although he's shown several times that he was nice, letting the old people on the bus, but then knocking into the guy and then yelling at him, but then helping him. Is this guy having some issues? Some character issues? We don't know. It starts to turn night. He gets off the bus and he goes up to a house, and apparently this is not his house. But when he goes into the house, he discovers there's been a grisly, I'm not going to show the pictures, grisly murder. It appears to be a husband and wife. They've been stripped of their clothing and they have a lot of things shoved in their bodies. And one of the things is the same Drano jug that he saw, that he knocked over in the grocery store, is taped to this gentleman's mouth and apparently made him drink Drano. It's pretty grisly. But he leaves. But why was he there? We don't know. That's the end of chapter 1. But they show as he's leaving, he's not too careful and he leaves a bloody footprint. Is that going to come back to haunt him? We don't know. We go on to chapter 2. Chapter 2, hours later. You can see the black and white here at the beginning of the chapter. I love it. Very evocative. And that word's going to come back up. Now apparently he's back home finally. Still don't know really who he is. He's got some mail. He's drinking some milk out of the refrigerator. He goes through his mail. But one of these says urgent on it. And it says Vancouver Medical Labs urgent test results. Another foreboding is maybe is he sick? Is he maybe dying? Does he have some medical issues? Is this maybe going to mess with his head and his outlook towards life? We don't know. But he does go, and now he's moving furniture and he's digging with a knife into some floorboards in his room, and he exposes these floorboards, and there's things hidden in the floorboards below. And one of them is a computer drive, a stick. What do they call those? Memory stick. And he takes it to his computer, puts it in his computer, and what we learn is that this is access to the dark web, and he's looking apparently for jobs. And we start to meet, looks like some people that are going to be investigating this murder. And of course, one of them spies a bloody footprint. We go back to the gentleman. He is walking, it looks forlornly, just walking along. It looks like he's sad, depressed. And then he goes to this building, and it appears to be an assisted living facility. And he meets up with what we find out is his mother. So he's sitting with his mother, and of course she's talking to him. He says, "Mom, I love you," but I don't know. She knitted him something, and he goes to the front counter where she's living, and he takes out it's just a paper bag. He dumps out some money, and the lady's like, "Whoa," and he's like, "I'm trusting you, take care of her," and he walks out. So I don't know, does he think maybe his time's short, he's not going to be seeing her again? We don't know. But then we find out that he meets up with another gentleman, and they kind of give like a code word to each other so they know who they are. Is this another hitman? Well, it appears to be. They go into an apartment, and there is the girl that was on that picture that he found for a new job. And I guess their job is to kill this new girl. That's the end of chapter 2. We go on to chapter 3. 3 French Polynesia. We start in the French Polynesia, and it appears to be some type of high-class sex club for very wealthy men. And one of the men gets a call. It's from the other hitman that's with him. We don't know anybody's names, and it's a picture of the girl. So they're there, and he says, yes, that's her. I want pictures when it's finished. Then the shit hits the fan. The guy goes to kill her. She retaliates, throws hot, like boiling water in his face, and has a knife. Then he punches her. He's gonna kill her, and then our main character, our protagonist in the blue suit, stops him, prevents him from killing her. They get into a fight, and he takes care of the other guy. She's on the floor, passed out. He picks her up, slings her over his shoulder, and takes her to the elevator. Then they're in a car. They're in the car speeding away. We've got to get out of here. She comes to and says, no, wait. Where's my son? My son was asleep in his bedroom. We need to go back and get my son. Oh, shit. Then he gets a ring on the dark web on his phone, and it appears that the powers that be know that they did not complete the contract. And that's the end of chapter 3. Wow. Pretty cool. What is getting me, and I keep alluding to this, is as I was reading it, I just was, what is this about this that is kind of grabbing me? And it was the sparseness. You know what? Sparse is the wrong word. It's not sparse like there's nothing there. This is modern. There's buildings and cars, like I said, people all over the place. It's not sparse, but it's stark. I want to say stark. Let me explain it a little bit more. Each chapter, each issue has 24 pages. The first one, chapter 1 in Vancouver, BC, has 24 pages. It has 184 panels. Panels, of course, of pictures. In those 184 panels, only 35 have any dialogue. So it's evoking this feeling of space, of starkness. For me, anyways, I'll try to explain that a little bit more. Out of those 35 panels with dialogue, only 9 of them have over 5 words in the dialogue, word bubbles. So really, they're really showing you this story unfold more through the artwork than through exposition. You know, people sometimes you'll see comics with just lines of exposition on the top and then just constant word bubbles all over the place. This isn't that. We're developing this atmosphere that is very evocative to me. I'll explain that more. Chapter 2, hours later, right? 24 pages, 179 panels, so few less panels, 5 less panels. Only 37 of those 179 panels have dialogue bubbles. And out of them, 22 have more than 5 words. So a little bit more wordy, but still really not compared to a lot of other comics or graphic novels that you may be familiar with. Chapter 3, French Polynesia. It starts off in French Polynesia, then goes back to the girl's apartment. 24 pages, 155 panels. So now each chapter so far, the panel number has gone down. This one though, 54 with dialogue. 54 of those panels have dialogue. much more than the first two, but only 14 of them have over 5 words. And I'm not talking I'm not even talking about the dialogue bubbles that are just grunts and groans. There are a ton of just like ugh, oof throughout it. So I'm not even counting those as dialogue. So I'm just trying to illustrate how this book is starting to set an atmosphere that is, for me, very evocative. I showed you those 2 panels always at the beginning of each chapter, each issue. That black and white, the way that they are giving space to me, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, or even Quentin Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs. I love that starkness at the beginning that said, you know, a righteous thirst for vengeance, with the all white page and boom, just the black. I'm really digging it. I don't know. I'm probably rambling on, but you know, like in the late 80s, early 90s, throughout the 90s, you know, with grunge and stuff, you had music that started to have this wall of sound, constant just droning guitars, in the grunge and the shoegaze music of the time, and the production, the way they did it was just this constant noise. But in classical music and other music, easy listening for sure, there's more space. I used to call it, when I was performing the band, we want to give this song a little more air in between. We want the people to breathe. We want to start evoking a feeling with this song, and that's how I feel that they've done it with this. Just giving air in between and letting you visualize what's happening, instead of the author feeling like they have to tell you what's happening all along, which sometimes unfortunately happens in graphic novels, because it's not a book where you're reading, you know, chapter and verse and things like that. I loved it so far. Out of 3 chapters, really digging it. Pick it up, try it out. Really, really good artwork. I can't wait to see where this is going. I think it's going to be some type of existential, you know, this guy was a hitman or something, and now he's found out that he's going to die of something, and he's now maybe contemplating his life and the choices he's made, and maybe wants to try to make amends for that. I don't know. That's just my feeling after 3 issues. All right, I'm going to end this here. I can't wait to see what Grozz says about it. As usual, if you find any entertaining value in my videos, please like, subscribe, leave comments, and until next time, peace out.